All right, we've been advised. Well, at any rate, guys, it's May 10th, and we are 10 days away from Spring Brookline. I bet everybody is licking their chops and warming up their hands. And to that level, maybe I guess I could hand up to President Bob if he wants to say a few things about that or anything else he wants to cover about the event or anything else club related.
Well, thanks for mentioning that, John. I did want to mention that the May 20th Brookline swap meet is coming up Saturday, May 20th. That's 2023. As of early this morning, we had sold at least 40 tailgate and tables. Since then, I've received email that we've sold more. I don't know the exact count, so it looks like the sales are going well. I got out another announcement this morning, included the information on the contest, which is Emerson radios and test equipment. And John had wanted to include, but I didn't know whether or not you're doing a photo contest, so I'll get that in the next notice. I just wasn't sure and didn't have time to get that sorted out today.
Oh, you say a photo contest of Spring Brookline or the results from the last event?
I wasn't sure if you were doing a photo contest for Spring Brookline.
We usually don't. We usually do it just for the big show. So I haven't prepared for one. I mean, it's not to say we couldn't do it for, let's say, Fall Brookline. And I could probably throw this together if people wanted to. I'm not going to object if we want to do that.
Yeah.
We can make the call.
That's really up to you. I was just wanting to be sure I had a comprehensive announcement going out.
Oh, of course, and you did, absolutely. I really like that constant contact. It certainly catches the eye. It's a nice blast. How about if I mull it over and I'll sync up with you offline on that and see whether we want to do it or not.
Sounds fine. Thank you.
But if we do, I'll certainly throw a flare up into the sky through our groups.io email blaster, or we could do constant contact if we want to. But at any rate, did you have anything else to add there, Bob? Anything else we should worry about club-wise?
No, I'm all set. Just come to the show on May 20th.
Right, or buy tables. I know that Bruce had mentioned he had a little bit of a little glitch when he bought his table with the pending transaction. I don't think anybody else has had any problems, but we'll just got to keep an eye out whether he has to reach out to Joe or not, or whether it could have been on PayPal, side of things, in which case it would be on PayPal, but hopefully that's just a minor little glitch. But so then does anyone in the attendees here have any announcements or anything, any meets or events or other things maybe we should be aware of?
Well, I can start off. Needless to say, this weekend is Kutztown, the spring meet at Kutztown, which is the right now it's become the largest antique radio, audio, TV, jukebox meets in the East. There's 2 giant pavilions, and they usually fill up, and then there's an auction in the evening around 5 o'clock. Tomorrow, a lot of vendors assemble at noontime, and they can stay over and camp. It's a big area, and as a vendor, you can join at 12 o'clock tomorrow. And then it's open to the public at dawn, I guess, on Friday morning. And then it goes into Saturday, but everybody's pretty much packed up about noontime on Saturday, even though it's supposedly open till about 5 on Saturday. But when I retired, I've been a vendor for the last 10 years, I guess. And, it's twice a year, and it's worth the trip. It's wherever you're coming from, it's worth the trip. We see license plates from Georgia, the Carolinas, way out west. It's an amazing thing, absolutely amazing. And if you're looking for bargains, it's there. And if you're a vendor, well, be careful. There's going to be a lot of bargain seekers, so just price everything right. But it's an experience, so I can only advertise it. Bobby and I will be vending, and I don't know if anybody in the call here tonight, has anybody ever been to K-Town? Tom, you've been, right? Yeah.
That's on my bucket list to do. I got to get myself out there one day.
Yeah, it's a great show.
Now I'm
It's-
going to count on Bob to give us a good video as he always does. It wouldn't surprise me if there'll be, and of course, still pictures also to supplement are encouraged. So if any of you guys can do that, that'd be awesome. Because I got a feeling we might be able to talk about cuts down at the next Zoom meeting. So no pressure, Bob.
None whatsoever.
Now, you always do a fine job in the video, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm not
And
sure what.
there's a fellow named Hageman, he's a New Englander, I believe. And he
yeah.
does a calendar and he does a lot of stills, very, very artistic, very nice. I forget his first name.
John,
Yeah.
it's John.
John, okay.
Yes, I think he lives in
And
Vermont.
I believe that John also has his own YouTube channel. I met the guy just last year. And he's been doing his, his pictures and the pictures that he does take, he submits it to DVHRC for the calendar that they make up that you could purchase while you're there. And that's the thing. That's one of the things my wife has to get. So we usually get a couple calendars with pictures of radios and other antique electronics on it. It's kind of cool. But John, he does a great job putting that all together. He's been doing it for a long time.
Well, I hope everybody. I hope the weather is good. It looks like, at least out here, the weekend weather looks good. So I'm hoping you guys will get equally.
Yeah, the Kutztown weather is good. Yeah.
It's supposed to be about 85 degrees both days, and where we vend, where Richie and I vend is kind of under canopies anyway. So unless you have like a wind-driven rain, there's no real issue with that at all.
Awesome.
But it's
No, it's
in the middle of farm country. So, well, I guess you folks, if you're living near farms and all, you get the sweet smell of manure. I'm not used to that, so it's something different.
Yeah, I guess so. Well,
There's also a cute little airport right next door. If you want, you can fly in.
Leave that to Tom to tell you that.
or skydive in maybe.
I thought that smell was flux.
Sulfur.
Yeah, you can have breakfast at the airport diner, and they have one broken down helicopter in a hangar right there.
Funny, that's awesome. But any other events or other things maybe the rest of us need to be aware of? Anyone wants to share?
I have one thing, John, if you're done with events and stuff like that.
Sure,
Go
ahead, Tom.
Okay. This little light bulb that you see in back of me here really surprised me. I was listening to my radio and let me see if this is going to work. Can you hear a little static, typical background on the radio? Well, watch what happens when I turn on the light bulb. Does that come through okay, or Zoom knock it out?
Yeah, the sound is not coming through very well.
Okay, well, take my word for it. When you put the light on, it makes a terrible buzzing sound. Maybe I can.
Oh, is that a LED bulb or? I got it a little bit. Is that an LED bulb, Tom?
So I decided I would do a sweep across frequencies with the thing, and it's quite frequency selective. So maybe you can hear this. Maybe you can see the S meter.
Yeah.
Operation
It's barely.
that didn't fix it. And so I said, well, do you need toe separators?
And this is one of those. This is one of those LED lights made by FEIT. And so I decided I had to look inside, of course, and I cut a window in it. Let me see if you can see this.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
Because I just didn't like that thing. It was a big surprise to me. I was listening to FM radio and this thing came on and I had no idea what was going on. Now let's take a look inside this bulb. I'll just enlarge the hole a little bit more so you can see what is inside one of these things.
If
And,
you take the
it's
base
not-
off, there's a hell of a lot in
not-
that base.
It's not a glass bulb, obviously.
Yeah,
You can cut it with scissors. And when you do, you've got this little guy here. Well, I maybe have too much light here. Let me try and cut that off. See if you can see it better. Yeah, stand by. Maybe, yeah.
oh,
you
yeah.
can
Oh,
see
it's
those
LED bulb for sure.
those little LEDs, and they're all lined up across there.
Right.
And there's some kind of stuff going on there at radio frequencies. And it doesn't happen on all of these things. So I figured I'm just gonna hang a few condensers on various places there and see if I can make it go away. So while the presentation is going on, I'll do a little experimenting here and see if I can figure out what's going on. Does anybody know what kind of circuit it takes to drive those little guys? What are they called? Cob LEDs, I think, COB. This is definitely the coming light bulb of the future. You're not going to be able to buy incandescent bulbs anymore. So I think
Yeah.
it's important for all of us to understand what's going on. And there's a
And
lot of
they don't work in your dim bulb tester either.
yeah.
All right.
The
A lot of these
predecessor
little-
to those LEDs, they used to have a little circuit board inside of them, like the first generation lights.
Yeah, they
And
still
it
do.
was kind of funny because, what's that, Rich?
They still do. If Tom, you open up the base, just in the base, just above the Edison, the Edison metal, the Edison right there, you open it up, and you'll see a whole circuit board in there. Believe it or not, micro
Okay.
circuit board.
What I was gonna say is that one time during a Zoom meeting with Al Clace, who's our club guru, we were actually trying to figure out whether there was enough components within an LED bulb that we could use them for replacements for an AA5 radio.
I could just see some guy keying this thing and going on the air with it. Talk about QRP, really low power. Anyway, while you're talking, I'll just drill a little hole in the base there and see what I can find. Thank you for the suggestion.
That's
Okay.
funny.
Actually, I have a comment.
Okay.
So today I replaced one of these bulbs because it was blinking. And I read the small print, and Tom, this small print for you. It says, the product may cause interference with other devices. If interference occurs, change the location of the products involved.
Change them to the garbage can, right?
So move your radio.
Or move your front porch or your living room.
Yeah.
They don't
This
seem to
thing-
advise
this
about
thing-
that.
This thing
Yeah.
actually transmits a long distance. You can get about 40 feet.
Yeah,
Green
there's no-
light, okay.
Might
That's
try
funny.
putting one of those, you might try putting one of those clamp-on ferrites right up close to the light fixture and see if that makes any difference.
Okay.
That's funny. That's
Good
awesome.
for me.
I can't use them in my porch lights. I have old fixtures, period 1940s fixtures. I have an old house. And so I said, well, I'm gonna, use the LEDs when they first started out, a few years back. And I have a mechanical switch, actually, a timer. And so when they would shut off, they wouldn't shut off. There was still a slight brightness to it. And it just would not go away. So current was still flowing. So I don't know how, why, I don't know.
That's funny.
So I went
Speaking of
back to
which,
the incandescents and it's fine.
sometimes the old way is the best way. Speaking of which, does anyone have any interesting recent acquisitions they want to show, or any ongoing projects or the like that they'd like to share here? If not, then without further ado, I will share my screen, and we're going to cover the March 26th spot meet for the Wisconsin Antique Radio Club. Greg was. Greg, you did attend, I believe.
Oh,
And
yes.
I am sure you were a buyer.
I bought a few. Yeah, not a big load, but 3 or 4 I picked up.
Yeah,
One of
that's
them
okay.
was complete at the end.
Yeah, we'll show. I have the photos, by the way, loaded up there.
Hey, John,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can I interject something before you get going? Because I just remembered.
Absolutely.
I should say this. I have to confess to doing an audio bomb on a couple of Saturday nights ago with Paul Bresch. And I don't know if he shared that with anybody else in the club when he was on the Morgan show.
I heard it.
And what happened was, I heard you guys had advertised he was going to be on the show, and I can DX WBZ easily from where I live. And so I was listening on, I had a my 98 NC98 communication receiver. And so I was listening, and it's going on. And then I heard the run the number across if you want to call in, blah blah blah. I said, what the hell? Let me write the number down, and I'll call in. Maybe I'll get on. Who knows? So I was number 2 on the roster, and the producer says, turn your radio off and just wait for our cue. So I got on, and I didn't know what should I do. So I put on my most New York-ese accent I could find, and I said, Mr. Bursch, when do you think you can make time to come down and visit the Radio Technology Museum of New Jersey Antique Radio Club? I heard that you wanted to come down. We haven't seen you, and blah, blah, blah. And before I got it all out of my mouth, Paul said, I know who this is. And then so it turned out for about 2 minutes, I was audio bombing his show. I was his co-host, with him and on the Howard show, or the Morgan show. I'm sorry. So I apologized to him the next day in an email, and he said, "Don't worry about it. It was fun." So I just wanted to throw that out there. Apparently, he gets on that show quite recent, and a lot. So that's
I was listening to you and the show and Paul, and it seemed like the host. Now, I've never listened to this show before, but it just seemed like I didn't know that if anybody was going to get on after the first person was on. I didn't think anybody else was going to get on because somebody called in and the moderator of the show got distracted and just it went on and on and on and on. I'm like, okay, when are we going to talk about radios? It was crazy, but eventually it broke through after about 20 minutes, and a run of commercials.
of course.
Yes,
Yeah, but it was fun for me.
it was
it's
fun to
funny,
listen to.
Yeah, it's funny. Here I am on BZ out of Boston. I've never been on ABC in New York.
Plus, you got a free little publicity for the New Jersey Antique Radio Club there, Rich.
I'm always pushing it. Have to do it, John. Of course,
You'll call on any show, whatever they're talking about.
Yeah, of course, that I'm sure you guys have been interviewed by Paul years ago when he had Tube Talk, and he's an honorary member of the New Jersey Antique Radio Club, and many of our guys he interviewed too back then in 2012, 2013. So we enjoy having Paul around.
Oh yeah,
and we don't see him on the Zooms anymore, huh?
Well, he's had a few things that have distracted him. I know that his wife had broken her wrist so rather severely, so she was on the DL, thus he's the extra hand in the house dealing with things. And I'm sure we'll have him back before a not too distant future. But yeah, you guys are just stuck with me. But of course, Paul is always welcome because he always has brings a wealth of not only knowledge, but he has a great way of sort of telling storytelling, I should say. So we look forward to having him back as soon as he can. But so without further ado,
let me just interject for a moment here.
Of course. There we go.
That the cobs come off, and there are just 2 pins that come up to the middle to make connection to there. And as you pointed out, somebody pointed out, the base, it has a little circuit board in
Yeah.
it, fairly complex. And it also has a lot of very heavy shielding. I don't know whether you can see, but the
Yeah.
entire inside there is not just foil, but it's thicker than foil. Gave my cutter a little bit of a workout here. So I guess the next thing for me to do is get all that shielding off and then start hanging capacitors all over that circuit until I find a point at which it stops broadcasting. Okay, thanks, John.
Oh, no, not a problem, Tom. In fact, we should add this little clip to the package that content package that Bruce showed earlier. So to say, for more information, go to this video that we'll upload of what to do.
Yeah.
Don't
I
mind
think we can, I
take it
think we can
apart.
safely say that the FEIT LED light is like the next generation of the whole talking house transmitter. The only thing is just transmits noise.
My experience has been if you put a filter similar to what is used in computer power supplies in line with the actual light fixture itself, and this is what I'm doing with new light fixtures that I install. I am putting a filter in there so that because it goes back through the line. It actually goes back through the line. It's not as much emitting from the bulb itself as RF, but it's going through the power line. And I'm finding that putting filters in there is helping a lot. Of course, if you don't have access to the filters, they can get expensive as well.
Just out of my own ignorance, but what type of filter are you using, Howard?
Like what brand?
Or what is it? I mean, is it capacitors or?
It's a sealed thing, and it basically has capacitors and toroid coils in it.
Oh, I was gonna say, that was my next question. If it had, maybe it had a toroid or something. Okay.
You know what?
And they work?
And it does work. I'll bring one to the next show, and who knows? I might even bring.
Whoop, you went on mute there, Howard.
George, just a thing. My understanding is those things are basically very cheap switching power supplies. And so, they're doing a lot of square wave stuff in there, which is going to generate an incredible amount of crap going back down the line.
Uh-oh, there it is. Tom's
There's a
got
lot
it.
in there.
Okay, now we just have to find an AA5 to rip the caps out and put in.
I would like to point out something. I don't know whether you all know this, but the bulbs come in different color temperatures. And from a physiological standpoint, and my background is as a neuroscientist, the color temperature of a light has rather dramatic effect on a person. If you get the blue light, which is sometimes called daylight, and it has a very high color temperature. What are you talking about? 5,000 or 6,000 Kelvin. That is a good light for keeping you wide awake, but it's a very bad light if you want to use it in the bedroom and drift off to sleep. I personally like the very warm temperatures. Cold is a very blue temperature, and strangely enough, cold light has a high color temperature, high Kelvin. So the cold light, which is blue, has maybe 5,000 or 8,000 Kelvin color temperature. The warm light, which is orangish or reddish, has a low Kelvin color temperature around 2,300. And I personally like those because they emulate really well the old incandescent bulbs, which were also warm because they were basically a red heated element giving off both light and infrared. So I prefer all through my house to replace the bulbs with those warmer lights. Maybe if it was a workshop or in a business, you might want to have the blue ones. I saw one jewelry store, and it had all very, very, very blue, very cold color temperature lights in there, maybe to make people all excited to buy their jewelry or something like that. One more thing, and that is that a new receptor has been discovered in the eye, which is capable of detecting primarily blue light. And when that receptor in the eye is stimulated, it reduces, the information goes up to the brain, and it reduces the amount of melatonin that is produced by the body. And reducing the amount of melatonin keeps you wide awake, whereas increasing the amount of melatonin, which is what happens with those warm color temperature 2300 Kelvin lights, is conducive to sleep. I'll stop now.
That's kind of interesting comment, Tom, because I don't know what shade or what part of the spectrum that would be on, but like Volkswagens, probably starting in the mid to late 90s, actually about late 90s, started running blue instrument panel lights as a backlight. And they made some comment that they thought it was easier on the driver's eyes. I don't know whether there's any studies even back then suggested it was just pure luck.
Probably pure luck, and it doesn't sound like it would be easier on the driver's eyes at all. I think they stopped using. Wasn't there a law that stopped people from using those blue headlights that were so annoying and incredibly bright?
No, these were actually probably so. I was actually talking about the the lighting of the instrument panel was sort of like a maybe in the slight on the purplish side of the blue spectrum. I thought it was actually fairly soothing. I had a Volkswagen Passat with it, and I thought it was. I found it fine. Then I've had red instrument panel lights, and my current car is white with red. I think the blue was easier on the eyes, but it's hard to say. And I just don't. And I thought I had read they had chosen blue because they thought it was actually at night. It was actually your eyes were more easily sensitized to blue, and it was a good choice. But they stopped doing it, so I don't know whether it was just someone's random idea that maybe it works better, or someone actually do some scientific research to say that blue is actually somewhat better than the other colors you offered for panel lights. But I don't.
My son has a BMW and it has very, very soft blue lights on the interior. So maybe they picked up the idea from Volkswagen. I think as long as the light is really, really low intensity, it probably has no noticeable effect on melatonin.
Interesting.
My silly Honda, you can change about 3 different colors if you want it on your dashboard. All the bells and whistles, stupidity.
So you can tune it to your mood.
Yeah. And it usually makes me angry, period.
Did anyone else besides me stock up on incandescent bulbs? I'm a firm believer that a candlelight dinner is romantic for a reason, and it's the color of the light, as Tom was mentioning, how it affects your mood and your receptors. When you dim an LED, it doesn't change its wavelength. And I'm not sure if an incandescent one does really either, but that orange light is to me like a candle. And I think that's what makes incandescents so nice. And I stocked up on them before.
I did too, Howard.
I figured.
Definitely. I didn't want to see those guys go away. But then when they came out with this nice 2300 LED, and I realized it's going to last longer than I'm going to last, and I never have to change it again, that was pretty tempting. One more thing, just to go back to psychology, there is a thing known as seasonal affective disorder. And when days get shorter and there's less and less light, people tend to get more depressed more easily. And we're talking about the blue light of daylight. And there's a therapy for this. Many people suffer from it actually in the north, where the days get very short and the amount of light gets reduced. And the therapy is to use blue light, daylight light, with a high color temperature and subject the person. Typically a psychologist will treat you for $100 of treatment to an hour of blue light. And that cheers you up. And it's really very important.
Not at $100 an hour would cheer me up.
Yeah, yeah, you'd be further depressed. You'd be almost catatonic there. Well, yes, we just snuck another announcement here. Thank you, Len. We have stuck in the flyer for the Saturday, July 22nd tune-up flea market at the New England Wireless and Steam Museum, East Greenwich, Rhode Island, from 9 to 3 p.m. Saturday, July 22nd. So mark your diaries, guys, or put it in your electronic phone and give you an alert a week before, and you know where you're going. Thanks, Len. Always good to remind ourselves of that. A call out to our friends down south in Rhode Island. All right. Well, then I guess maybe I'll start sharing some photos here. I have to admit there were some very nice photos. I really liked. I did do a quick walkthrough when earlier. Share my screen here. All right. Everyone see this?
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
So I'm gonna walk through these, but I think I'm sure Greg can give us any background or backdrop on some of these radios. It's a very nice looking Zenith.
That was the first thing you saw when you walked in the door at the meet, was that the Zenith sitting there. It didn't
That's
last
very
too long.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that
that's
front
pretty
grill
quick.
part. It's really nice, very attractive.
And maybe Bob knows the model number on that.
Yeah, I was wondering if anyone knew that because I wasn't sure myself.
There were a couple models of that kind of style radio, so I'm just not picking up on which one that one is.
I think it was a six tube, 36.
Yeah, and I think it's like a 6V something, right?
I think you're right. Yeah. I've got the console version of it, which is just a mini console. It's got
Right.
the same chassis.
I
Wasn't
mean,
that
that's
a World's
just a
Fair?
beautiful cabinet.
Mhm.
Wasn't that a World's Fair radio? Wasn't that like a torch for the 36 Olympics or something on the grill or something to that effect?
Could be.
Interesting.
I suppose it's possible. I really don't know.
Very attractive, especially like curvature there on the grill. Beautifully done. Certainly unique.
Mhm.
All
RCA.
right. RCA, very nice. Another sizable tabletop.
The only problem with that one is I'm missing the speaker. You kind of see through the grill cloth there.
Oh, yes. So that is details.
Minor detail, yeah.
Is it an RCA?
Yeah.
Radio, though.
Huge radio.
Crosley.
Board,
There we
yeah.
Everybody knows these. That looks to be in pretty reasonable nick. A couple of scratches, but nothing too serious. Certainly easily fixed.
One of the more uncommon colors. Usually you see a lot of those in white.
Yeah, they look nice in white, but the blue is quite nice here as well.
Mhm.
Oh,
There's,
you'll be showing this later. Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead, Greg.
That's a Majestic model 59. It was a basket case, but it was a challenge. But I managed to pick that up. Surprisingly, everything was there. Every screw, every bolt, every knob. Nothing was missing, but as you can see,
Good.
somebody had a fun time painting it pink and blue.
Yeah, so you bought this with someone started that did this quote refinishing and decided to get rid of it.
Well, I think that was done many years ago, probably, back in the 60s or whenever they started taking stuff like that and painting them to wild colors.
Wow, that's pretty wild and probably
It's actually a very desirable Art Deco radio when it's done.
yeah, no, that's cool. We'll after I go through the photos, we'll I'll share the photos that you shared with me.
Really after pictures,
Inspiration.
yeah.
Oh, look at this. The
That
rather
is Simplex,
simplex.
Simplex, yes.
See those two
That was all
often.
restored, fully working.
Beautiful, beautiful cabinet.
It's a nice veneer and kind of a unique grill design.
Yeah. No, it's certainly unusual.
Not a very common brand either, Simplex.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. No, nice array.
You can see the dashboard on top shelf there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, same one, I suppose.
Mhm.
Was a candy cane? Is that an RCA?
Silvertone.
So thank you. I was kidding.
You get a Beetle radio on to the left of the dashboard.
Oh yes, 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 yes.
Mhm.
That an Emerson?
That's either a Western Auto or a True Tone or something.
Yeah, I think it's a True Tone, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's got a GE in the middle shelf there below the dashboard that was kind of unique. I forget what they call those. They're kind of collectible too.
Turbine.
Right. They're 1939 GE.
Yes, indeed. This is interesting with this marker, this indicator. I'm not even sure what this radio is. The black one with the.
Not sure. Are you able to zoom in at all on them?
Let's see. How do I zoom on? Let's see. I'm trying.
I guess that's a GE.
I think it might have been, yeah.
No. I'm at.
That was it. Okay.
Only goes. Oh, that's okay.
Oh, wait a minute. That's the thing. If you go down on the bottom, let's see, where was that little?
Oh, that's good. Listen there.
icon? Yeah, there was an icon on the bottom of the screen where if you clicked on that, you could enlarge the picture. I think it might be that circle.
Let me try. I'm gonna pop out and go back in.
Yeah. Yep.
See if I get the.
I think that's the one right there, maybe. There you go. There you go. View full size. Bingo. There you go.
Let's see if that.
If you
Oh
click
yeah,
on-
there we go. That's right. Thank you for
Awesome.
reminding me how that works because it was. There we go. You can just select the white area you want to zoom in on. Got it. Okay.
Right.
I just might get out of this. Now I lost the.
Let's see.
I can go back. I can do the
It
old.
opens up in a different window. If you go up on top, you go back where it says right there.
Yeah, there we
Bring it
go.
back.
Oh, right. I got it. I'm with you. Now I remember how it works.
Yeah, I had to stop and think myself. It's been a while.
Yeah, no, we did this once before and we did the last one and I just forgot how it did that, but that way if you want to get a little closer up to the let's see a little closer up there we can. See the
There you go.
tile face and so forth. I said to get a closer look there. Neat. Let's see if we can't go to the let's have a closer look on that tile face here. There we go. That's good looking. Very nice. All right, let's go to the, there we go. Now we can do this and get up closer on some of the stuff. Get a closer look on that. This is Zenith.
Oh, it's a Zenith.
Oh, yeah.
It's missing the little thing behind it with the numbers maybe.
Maybe that's
I think
That's
there's a
why.
brand-
Maybe it's there and I can't see it. Son of a gun, had me fooled.
yeah, because It
Oh,
is so
Majestic.
interesting. I've never seen anything like that before. See what's here. There we go. Another Zenith. So Stromberg Carlson over
That's the
here.
Stromberg Carlson on the right.
Uh-huh. I think it's a general television.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Put this one down here.
That one might have been a FADA. Beta.
Could be. It's hard to say. There's a couple of phones. That bogus Zenith. Is that another Stromberg? What is this?
That's the General Electric. It's a
Oh,
1939.
that's really
Yes.
sharp. There's the Teletone.
Teletone, yeah.
There's this neat open, clear radio.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty cool. And not sure about this one over here.
I think that's a Howard, like
You're
my
right.
name.
Right. Okay.
That Air Castle, Air King, something like that.
Maybe.
Or Admiral,
Admiral, yeah.
could be.
Yeah. And there's I can't see any script to say because Admirals typically had a logo somewhere along the way, but it's hard to tell.
Mhm.
Good looking radio though. There's that Motorola. Is that Bulova?
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Huh.
Yeah, let's see.
There's the Beetle. Yeah, it was a,
That says Admiral.
yeah.
Oh yeah, so it is. Yep. Yes, yes. Good stuff.
He always
stuff.
has high quality radios like that. They're all in really nice looking condition.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good looking radio too. Oh, that's great. Yeah, by the way, my compliments to the photographer. He did a good job. He or she did a really nice job this time. Not that the photographs aren't good all the time, but these are a particularly good set.
I think the president of the club, Nick Tillich, did those. Let's see, I think it's a Crosley on the right.
Yes, there we go. Not sure about this one. I can see something on the
Might be an
institution.
airline. Might be an airline. Or Coronado, one of the two.
It's a tough one to tell. I see script here. That's about it. I can't really
It's
tell.
Coronado. That's what it is.
All right. I'm going to take your word for it because but look at the woodwork. Actually, is this look intended? Yeah, it's some sort of like, or is this just something to get on this? No, maybe it's just the damage, maybe not really meant to look that way. Initially thought it was a pattern like intended, but now so it's hard to tell.
It might have been one of those sets where somebody took some poly over it to
Yeah.
slathered it full.
Yeah, it looks maybe you're right. You're probably right, Greg.
John, if you get to a point where you could take a break, maybe I could show you, I've found a cracked Mylar capacitor in the light bulb.
Yeah, I could dive out for a moment and just pick this up.
I don't
All
know
right.
whether you
Yeah.
can see it, but that brown Mylar capacitor has a
Yeah.
crack at the end of it.
Oh
And,
yeah, you just
so
see it.
thank you for the clue on looking in the base. I'm going to replace it now. A ridiculous project and see if it cuts out the RF. Thank you, guys.
No, that's okay, Tom. This is all instructional stuff that any home buyer, homeowner can do themselves.
Yeah. See, that little guy is definitely hurting. The
know.
crack right in the Mylar.
Well, it just speaking of which, just LED lights in general, they claim, oh, you get 10 years. And I've had, sets that clearly are just not good quality because they last all of, what I would say no more than a few weeks worth of, full usage, and they start flashing or stop working altogether. So the quality control, I think, is lagging a bit. I mean, maybe that's what helps drive the price point down, but you can tell, and I'm a little bit disappointed because they're not that cheap still. Incandescent are still a lot cheaper than LEDs. And so you expect
There's an awful lot of circuitry in that little baby. And it's amazing that I guess they're selling for roughly $3 or $4. You buy 4 at a time or whatever. And there's certainly a crack in a Mylar. Probably one of 100,000 of these is not the end of the world. But very, very fun to find that. Thank you.
That's right. The FEIT ownership should be watching this video to improve their quality control.
Well, before you go back to the screen sharing, John, I'll just show you. Here's that. I picked up that GE, that 1939. It's sitting right here on the shelf behind me.
Oh yeah.
Saw in the model H520. H520.
That's beautiful, Greg.
Yeah, it was a cute little radio. I couldn't pass it up. Usually you don't find them that small from 1939.
Yeah. Great. Go. It's right up there.
Atwater Kent, the middle. I think it's a model 145 Atwater Kent.
It's another Crosley here.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a nice. It's in pretty nice shape. It looks complete. Even the grill cloth looks pretty reasonable shape.
Yeah, they're nice little radios, but the problem with those is they're just loaded with crumbling wire. So if you take on a project like that, you got a lot of rewiring to do.
Oh yeah. Point. Another Crosley.
Honestly, yeah.
Oh, what do we have here?
Hmm.
Let's have a closer look. Oh, a Philco.
Philco. I'll be darned.
Man's World. Transworld. I guess it's another way of calling it TWA. Transworld All Transistor. Nice radio.
Those are wonderful DX radios.
Nice
Don't
map,
see-
yeah.
Don't see that very often, this Philco. That and that nice Stromberg Carlson that we showed the last meeting.
Oh, the AWP8, yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice one.
Looks like he's got 2 there.
Oh, yeah. There's number
Oh
90.
yeah, good catch. Yeah. Oh, since we got a very early Stromberg Carlson.
Yeah. Part of it anyhow.
Yeah. That pointer on red. Fine, not beyond.
Really some nice graphics on it.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually admiring it. It's really quite nice. I love the relief work. Even the I mean, just look at the channel in here, just beautifully done. The
Yeah.
scalloping in the wood and so forth. Beautiful. Hats off to those guys on that alone.
Well, it's gotta be pre-28 because they're not showing the kilocycle numbers on it. They're showing meters and then just probably a 0 to 100 scale.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's a good piece of information.
The battery meter is a nice feature on that. I like that on the front.
Yeah, that's
a
pretty.
nice-
That's very slick. Also nicely encapsulated by this nice relief print. Ah, that's neat. Great.
That's Emerson?
Nice looking radio.
Yeah, it's gotta be an Emerson.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. It's a radio.
There it is. Boise City.
That's right. That's right. It's pretty good shape.
They always had those unique pointed knobs too.
Yeah.
Zenith,
That's a 41 7-tube Zenith console.
right. I've got the table model like that same chassis, just
Very
Much more
nice.
Yeah, I've got a 6-tube table model of that, and I have the original that came with the radio. That somebody must have bought it or something, because I've never seen another one. But my radio's got the little tool that you can go in there and spin the variable capacitor around for each of the presets.
oh, wow.
I was really surprised because I bought it off of eBay like 12 years ago, and when I saw that wrench on there, I said, "Oh, okay, I know what this is for." And I've never seen another one.
Wow. Yeah, I think the six,
like- You can see the little strip of brass like over the white buttons
uh-huh,
that comes off,
right.
and you can go in there with that tool and adjust each station that you want to be able to listen to for the presets.
I think
Sometimes
besides,
you find that brass strip missing.
right. I think in addition to just having one extra tube, the 6-tube just had a treble and a bass button. And I think on the 7-tube, they added some more tone controls.
Yes, that's right.
That's a nice looking radio. Grill, everything. Very sharp.
Yeah, the photo finish on the grill work is still in nice shape. That's kind of impossible to replicate.
Yeah,
No, I mentioned that'd be the case.
I replaced the transformer in mine. My 6X5 shorted out, and I didn't have a fuse in it.
Ooh, yeah. One of the downsides of those.
That was a lesson learned. So every transformer set I have now, it's got a fuse in it.
Mhm. Let's see, what's that?
Get a close up here.
Hmm.
Oh, nothing is jumping at.
No,
Really
mystery.
interesting work on the cabinet. Really interesting. Unusual. Beautiful work. I mean, look at all the beveling and so forth. Really well done.
Yeah, it's beautiful inlay work on the cabinet. But,
Yeah. That's certainly worth the cabinet alone just to see it. The mystery radio. Now,
looks to
see
be
what amplifier might this be.
There's more chrome on that than a 58 Cadillac.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, or that or the yeah, the Cadillac had that style grill right around that time. Yeah, lots of chrome on this.
Must be a Scott.
I was wondering that. Couldn't be sure.
Let's see.
One is missing a dial face, I'd say, or
I'm not sure if that was a radio or not. That might have been like a intercom or something. Oh,
it's interesting. It's got the backlight. It's got the knobs. It just seems very odd that it has just opened that way. But maybe
I
that was
guess that's the tuning capacitor. Yeah, must be.
and maybe that was intended.
I guess if you pick that up, you better hope Radio Days made a reproduction dial scale for it. I ordered one for a Bendix on March 6th and I just got it last week. Radio Days.
I actually bought a dial scale for Philco I was working on, and some of them table Philcos, the paint just goes away on the back, and I only waited like a week and a half to get it. I was kind of amazed.
Oh, yeah, you're fortunate. That was a really nice Zenith chair side,
Yes,
1939. That got sold too, but I think there's another picture of it later on, but
As it goes, look at these little sound register switches.
yeah,
it's
yeah.
neat to see the buttons and the tabs intact. Every time I see one of them, there's usually one broken or more missing, or nice to see everything intact.
Well, this
They
guy's
used to
fair
make
buck.
them in repop, but they don't make them anymore.
Your station presets are on this side.
Yeah. I can see you put the decals on the dial scale because the reproduction decals are white and the original numbers were kind of like with what the Zenith is, kind of a goldish color.
Oh,
Yes,
good to know.
you're right.
I read somewhere, somebody said you could take some toner on the decal just to tint it a little bit, give it a more of a gold color. I never tried that though.
I didn't realize this has a tuning eye here.
Oh yeah, it's a shutter dial.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's probably a 6U5 or a 6E5, not a 6T5.
Oh yeah. Good luck finding one of those.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
I've
On
got
that
one.
note,
I've been
anybody
saying,
who's coming, I'm sorry, anybody who's coming to Brookline, I'm gonna have NOS 6E5 tubes there if anyone wants them. I got a bunch of them, and the special Brookline price is $18. So if
Wow,
anybody's
that's
got
very reasonable.
if anybody's got a dim 6E5, I'll have them there. So
Good to know. Thank you, Howard.
let's see.
Wow, look at this thing.
Yeah, not exactly sure what it is, but
Yeah, I know. I'm looking for any plate and it tells me. This would be something that Merrill would be able to answer, I'm sure. Also nice.
there's the price.
It's a $100 whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Fill in the blank. It's actually
could have been a kit.
That
Those are-
tip tube alone was $75. That's why it's so expensive. You put a regular O1A in there, and it wouldn't be so bad.
John, could I ask another question of the assembled brain power? I've got this capacitor here and it's a 154J. Anybody have any idea what that value that might be and whatever code they use? 154J.
Oh, I don't have my-
0.15 microfarads and a J is 5% tolerance.
Say again?
The J refers to 5% tolerance.
Okay,
154, which should be 0.15.
thank you. That's great. Thanks, Brad.
Welcome.
I think that might be a kit. Those coils are very unique. It's not the typical honeycomb or
no.
Right.
very interesting anyway.
Yeah. I've never seen one like this before. Not this configuration.
Just makes you wonder if that was originally maybe a kit set.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Fairly possible. Let's see, maybe that was the tag from it.
See if I can get a closer look at what this is. Instructions.
Ah,
Oh, belts, there you go.
Radio belt.
they say in Japanese, aso desu.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
That is neat.
Rockford, Illinois, the General Cement Manufacturer. That's cool.
It's kind of weird because you find them new old stock sometimes and you take them out of the envelope and they're already falling apart.
yeah, the laminations.
Yeah,
I don't even mess around with them. I just get those neoprene ones from that fellow in Rhode Island. He does a great job.
Mm-hmm. Atwater Kent, well, 52.
yes, indeed.
And referred to as the.
I haven't
stove.
seen one of them in a long time because when I look at that, I thought first time I saw one, I thought it was a space heater.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks. That's so true.
know.
It does look like one, doesn't it?
it isn't all
I haven't
metal.
seen one of them in probably about 5-6 years.
Well, I think if you run it long enough, it could be a little bit of a space heater.
Well,
Probably.
that vendor is driving out to Kutztown, so you might see it out there if you're gonna attend the meet.
I have
tonight.
one of those, John, sitting right about 5 feet away from my position here.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Does it keep you warm in the winter, Bruce?
Yes, it does. Turn it up to 11 for extra heat.
Oh, that's great.
Well, if only Santa.
I thought it was I bought it at an auction maybe 20 years ago, and I thought it was a heater at first until I lifted off the top. And it's an Atwater Kent.
Right,
It's pretty funny.
very similar to the Atwater Kent Model 40. It's just a Model 52. There's some gear.
Okay. That's a Heath kit.
Yeah,
That's-
that'd be
yep, he-
4 a.m.
It'll be 4 a.m. That's a nice amp. It's heavy. That iron on there.
Yeah, look at that. You don't have to go to the gym to carry that around.
Yeah.
Got back here.
Not sure what that is.
I see the symbol of a crown. I'm trying to think what I've seen that.
Regency. That's a
Ah.
Regency.
Ah,
There you go. Thank you, Howard.
that's not ringing a bell either.
Mm-mm.
Let's see if we can get a look here.
I believe that is Scott.
Record
It
company.
looks like
99B.
it's Scott, but I don't see a logo or anything on it.
Let
Oh,
me get
it's the
on.
paper.
Oh,
Scott
it
9.
is Scott 99C.
There you go.
Okay.
Right. IBM presents. You made the call, Bob.
Oh, not me. Not me.
Does it say Craftsman?
Craftsman, I think.
It's a Craftsman with an EM.
Oh, Craftsman. Yep. Pluralized. Huh. That's
Little
unusual.
mono FM tuner.
Yeah. Cool.
Neat stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I agree. Some good stuff. You don't see that too often. I like shortwave.
Allied shortwave receiver. Probably solid state.
Probably.
Got the newer Radio Shack symbol on the lower right.
Mm-hmm.
The design is trying to copy the Collins S line.
Yeah. It does have a Collins look to it. Reed Eisman.
Reed Eisman. popular.
Those are really elegant looking radios.
Neutral dime receiver, model NR-5.
Even all the screw heads are countersunk.
Yeah. Nice looking radio.
Yeah.
Very attractive radio.
That thing
Oh,
is
that's
kind
an
of
RCA.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's an original cabinet.
that's what
I
I was
don't
just
think
gonna
it is.
ask if that was a homemade cabinet because I never saw one like that.
Because that's either a 5T or a 6T chassis in there.
Right.
Oh, whoever did it did a pretty respectable job on the cabinet.
It's kind of industrial looking, but it's nice.
Yeah, but it gets the job done. It, would half pass for
Well, most of those were like little tombstones, and they made some consoles from that chassis, not too many. So I don't know, for a homebrew cabinet, it's actually not bad looking.
no. Yeah, it's not exactly going to pass the Art Deco look.
Yeah, the cool sex appeal part of that radio itself, and any of the, I think these were made in 35 or 36, somewhere in that range, I guess. But
Right.
if you look at the front of the radio and you see where the pointer is pointing, just to the left of that, there are some arrows. And when the
Mhm.
radio is on, they change color. So when you change the band, and the 7, 8, 9 tube, 10 tubes, they have more arrows on it. So when you change the band, it actually changes the color of the arrow, so you know which band you're on. I think that's just so cool. I know it sounds kind of childish and simple, but
Oh no, you have a sympathizer here.
yeah, I just love that look.
Well, the dials themselves are side lit. The light comes through the side and it looks like it's almost 3-dimensional.
Yes. Okay, let's see, who made this one?
Get a little closer.
I don't recognize that. It's a BC 340.
BC 348.
348, so that's a Belmont, yep.
Yeah.
When I was a kid growing up, my father had the Farnsworth version of that radio.
Oh. Like how somebody scribed the word on onto the face.
Yeah,
of
I
the thing.
noticed that. Maybe the on fell off, maybe the relief got worn off or something, or
Yeah. Wow.
Grundig.
All right, here's your wheelhouse, John.
Yeah.
You never say no to a big old piece of German iron there. Yep, 5088. These are actually rather nice little radios. They have the adjustable, they're called the multisonic, variable sound registers. Plus they have the big sound register buttons here. Really nice stuff. I mean,
That was your 50s graphic equalizer.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's pretty nifty for, I would say this is probably, I don't know, around 57.
So can I safely assume that that's more of a higher end Grundig?
Yeah, definitely. This is I see 2 speakers here. There's probably 2 here. This is probably a 4-speaker unit, because you can see there's the large speaker here, and they throw a tweeter up here, and they probably have a couple of mid-ranges, one in each side. Plus it's, nice tuning eye. Plus the nice thing is when you hit the buttons, the buttons here turn on a little light on each of these. So it's, nicely done in terms of, if you like lights, you get your German radios. If you buy a Saba, you get the higher end Sabas, and the key you pressed was backlit from underneath. So that was cool too. So they like their lights. But this is also
There
used,
also like a little
sorry.
line between the
isn't there a little line between each of the little balls that goes up and down with the equalizer?
Yes, 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 yes. They're in this little panel here. Yeah, they did a pretty cool job. And this is also an export radio because it does have to cover the full FM spectrum. So definitely a US model. The radio. Be curious. So even the cabinet looks to be in pretty solid shape. All the metal's there. It's a nice radio. And if it's restored, then you're plug and play and you're off to the races. Nice little radio.
That one might have
Yeah.
followed you home if you'd have been there.
It could have at the right price, but I'd
Yeah.
have to wear head protection when I got home.
Always room for one more, right?
Well, you know, if the price are right, it would have been hard to say no because they are nice radios.
Yeah.
Oh, here more stuff, more German stuff. Well, that was a little close up here. Now there's one on the right. It will be an unusual one. Nice Saba. Now this Saba is probably like a lower mid end. It doesn't have the automatic tuning, so we know it's going to be, you know, it's got twin speakers. It's a lowerish end Saba. I forgot what model this is, but it won't disappoint. Nevertheless, you know, you're not making a bad decision on this. I think this covers the full FM spectrum as well, so you're kind of doing okay there. This is the US model, so get the full gamut. Be probably a pretty darn nice radio. And here, I think is a Metz. Metz was one of those, you know, pretty minor, lower German manufacturers you didn't see too often. I forgot where they were made in Germany. But interesting enough to be a US, I think this is a US model as well. So whoever bought these, even Metz made export models, but not very often. You rarely see these in export trim. Most of these stayed and in Germany didn't emerge to the US, but this one managed to find a home.
Yeah.
Pretty, you know, it looks like you're pretty standard. This is going to be a lower mid-range radio. It does have a couple of sound register buttons to at least offer you some. This is probably like a mid to upper mid radio.
Check out the notes on the bottom. There's bass clef on the right and treble clef on the right. Bass clef on the left and treble clef on the right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what they do that in a lot of their. Sorry.
They're usually pairs, and they're referred to as Metz in terms of.
Yeah,
their
Metz. Yeah. Well, that's why they went down fast. I forget where they were made in Germany, but
I think it's interesting that the broadcast band on that goes all the way down to 510 kilocycles, which is a little unusual. Maybe not. I mean, usually most of the broadcast band sets we see here, you know, 550 is where they start, sometimes 530, but not all the way down to 510.
All right.
That's a good point, Howard. Good observation. Yeah. Interesting radio. You don't see these pop up very often. So if you want to have like the AMC of radios, you know, something like this would be a reasonable thing to bring home because you're probably the only kid in your surrounding area that owns one, maybe the entire state. Speakers, I suppose.
Couple of horns.
Yeah.
Yeah, those might have been Altec Lansing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Some keys. Calling Dr. Perera.
Yeah. He can identify those, I'm sure.
Must be still working on his light bulb, trying to repair it. Unfortunately, I cannot offer any more insight than
The one in the middle is the only bug that was ever offered in kit form. It's called a Cedar Rapids bug. Quite nice and very, very, very many of them were made, so it doesn't have a lot of value. 85's pushing it for that. 65 would be more reasonable. The one on the left is a Vibraplex Lightning bug made by the Lionel Corporation during World War II because Vibraplex couldn't make enough of them. And the label that you can just barely see a couple of little pins that hold the label on the very left side of this picture. It's a long label. It's actually, you can see a little bit of it curled up on the base there. And it says J36. It's a military bug used during World War II and made by Lionel Corporation because Vibraplex couldn't make enough. So there.
very good. Tom comes through just when we need him.
A couple of normal sounders from the 1930s, 1940s worth $15 or so, typically.
Oh, looks like they're reaching for the stars there, huh?
Yeah.
All right, a Rockland Systems Corporation. I've seen one of these before. Oscilloscope, I guess. No, spectrum analyzer.
Oh,
FFT spectrum analyzer.
Looks like it's seen a lot of use.
Sure has. A little tired looking.
Yeah.
All right. Ico.
Magnavox FM tuners, I believe, aren't they? No, ICOs. I'm sorry.
Yeah, look at that, huh? A couple of them. FM tuners. Oh, Radio Shack.
that's a Radio Shack shortwave receiver. I think it's a 394 is the number, DX394.
See what they say. Here's Yamaha something receiver. 100 watt. Tubes,
Oh,
tubes.
Tubes are us.
This club, they had a bunch of, this is a local ham club, and they had all these tubes, and they're all picked through by now, but he had some really reasonably priced ones. They're like $1.50 a piece or $2.
Really?
But all the desirable ones are pretty much gone now. A lot of those numbers are for TVs, I think. And
Can't help it. Let's look at this little left frog.
now you can read some numbers.
Left frog.
Left frog. Let's see. There you go. Let's see here. Some fairly reasonable, not
786,
price.
787.
All reasonably priced. I don't see any expensive tubes here. $8 here. 35 cents.
Well, that's true.
Imagine the labor involved in putting price tags on every one of those boxes. Oh my God.
That's probably more to the label than was for the tube itself. Meters.
All kinds of meters. Nothing really rare or unusual there.
Westinghouse.
You can't give them away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I think this was Fred Darsenball's table.
Meet the Depressed.
Meet the press, yeah.
I didn't even know that show was still on TV.
Oh, yeah.
The meet was on Sunday morning.
It's
I think.
not, that's just what it plays because it's an old.
What the heck is
TV,
wrong with that
so-
guy's eyes?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I know. It's pretty freaky.
Like you just saw something really strange for the first time.
He's
Yeah, I
extra
know.
sleepy. He's got bags under the eyes.
Is that what that is?
Hey, get up early for Meet the Press, you know?
Yeah, it was
you
pretty
know,
early on a Sunday morning.
I don't
You
know.
saw
You,
it goes to U Downs or somebody, and it's like, what the heck is that?
you could just be possessed. Happens all the
Yes.
time.
Well, those old TVs, you know, are the work of the devil anyway. Look at that. It's a Philco, a working Philco TV. You tell me.
Yeah.
At least it's not a predictive.
The Golden D?
And I was watching, and maybe Richard saw that too. The Early Television Foundation, they had a video of their meet. Somebody had a brand new predictor in the box yet. And it's
Yes, I
Really?
saw that.
$8,000.
Wow.
And they had a, did you see the big sign that said do not touch
Right.
next to it?
Yeah.
I was tickled over that.
Guaranteed not work.
Yeah, this is the drill press.
Yeah, this that was the same guy that had the TV. He, the vendor that used to where we held our meets prior, he passed away, and they had an auction this past winter of all the things that were in his building, and that was a whole auction lot. He bought all those chassis, but he got the drill press thrown in with the auction lot. I think he only paid $1 a piece for those chassis.
It pays to say RCA was on the side of the table.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think those were mostly Stromberg Carlson
I
chassis.
was going to say they look like Stromberg Carlson console chassis. Like the one on top is for that really weird cabinet that would go in a corner.
Right. The
You ever see
angled
those,
cabinet.
Greg?
I did, yeah. They're kind of triangle shaped. I think that's
More
the one that had the-
John, can I break in one more time?
Of course you can.
I just wanted to thank you all. We have can you flip over to me for a moment? We
I
have
have.
a successful fix. It's not pretty with the condensers hanging on the side there, but if you listen to the radio and you turn on the light, it is silent. Well done,
Oh,
everybody.
look at you. Give the man a hand. We'll call it the FEIT quality control.
Yes, yes, yes. We can do it. NEVAC forever.
You've seen it live, folks, with this video that hopefully the people from FEIT are watching, and they'll see that they better call back to the manufacturer that we're getting their parts and say, come on, you could do better than
I
that.
have wasted more time on a project in my life, but it's good.
With a man with the knowledge and experience of Tom to put this together, this was certainly a Kodak moment.
yeah.
It is, because
No,
we're
it's all
not
that you
only,
do to you guys. I never would have looked in the base without you.
but you look at it this way, you know, we're doing a presentation. Tom's chiming in on the telegraph keys. Meanwhile, he's fixing manufacturer's light bulb. You know, he's a man of many talents.
What
That's pretty
fun.
funny. That's awesome, Tom.
You guys are great. I never have this much fun hanging out with the Jersey Club guys. You guys are great.
Well, you're welcome anytime, Bob.
Don't worry. Sooner or later, you'll get tired of me too. So don't worry about it. I just have a dry sense of humor sometimes.
It's gonna be hard to get rid of you. Like radios, you like cars. I don't know. I think you're okay here. More tubes.
Yeah, these were.
Oh.
Oh, I was just gonna say, those were more radio tubes than TV tubes in that vendor's stash.
One more comment. I think this belongs on the free table at Brookline, don't you?
Well, Tom, I think if you were to find a way to autograph it, you know, would be, you know, and put it on eBay, perhaps, you might get $100.
Oh, man, if they can get $100 for a $1 book, who knows what it might bring? I better sign it. Yeah, I'll autograph it.
I think what you really need to do to put that over the top, Tom, is to get like a small piece of like P-touch tape and with the words patent pending on it and just stick it on there.
That's a good idea, yeah. Thank you for the size of the Mylar. It's not within 5%, it's a 0.1, but that's good enough, I guess, Brad.
Let's have another look at there, Tom. I took you off the share. Why don't you bring it up there again, your handiwork.
Let's see if I can do this. Yes, there we go.
Look at that. Look at that beast. The bolt-on. Sort of like, you know, bolt-on Frankenstein, right?
Thank
Frankenbolt.
you. Sorry to interrupt your pictures.
Oh, no, this is all
This
good
is
fun.
ridiculous.
All good fun.
Is that a General Lee Electric?
Looks like it. Or is it? No, it's an
Oh,
airline.
it's an airline.
Dun,
Fooled
dun,
me.
dun.
The knobs look like General Electrics. It fooled me.
A lot of
Yeah.
record space in that one.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, look at this. Now we got lots. Let's zoom in on.
This vendor's name is Jay Volke. He's a go-to guy for knobs around here. He's a knob vendor, and he's driving out to Kutztown, so you might see a lot of that stuff the Kutztown made.
Oh, okay. Some speakers, of course, this Reed Iceman, maybe.
It looks just like the Freed Eisman we saw before, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. I
So I was
it's-
thinking, it's all Bob. Yeah.
That's a 1000 TO to the left. I don't know what's behind it. That's the non-FM transistor transoceanic version there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's somewhat of a. I don't think it's a top end model.
I just went through one of them for one of the NJRC members about a couple weeks ago. I never did an alignment, or I had to do a tuning string on. Oh, the tuning string was a nightmare. I ended up spending like 3 entire days on the radio.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, but I did everything for the guy because I know that he's going to use it a lot. And then, you know, I had to plug in transistors. I was checking the gain on all the transistors and did the tuning string, and then I did a full blown alignment on the thing. The alignment, and I did the alignment wrong the first time, so I had to stop what I was doing in the middle of what I was doing. When I realized I made an error, and then I did it all over again. So it's a hot little radio now, and he's happy.
Nice.
Zenith Portable.
Yes, yes.
That's an early one there.
Yeah. 1940, I think.
That battery as well?
Yeah,
Well,
it
it's
should be
battery or AC.
right.
Yeah, okay. I figured as much.
Probably a Philco Model 54, little cigar box. White Brunel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And let's see. Not sure what that is.
Yeah. Not sure either.
Philco Model
can't
20
tell.
behind there, and there's another Atwater Kent Model 84 next to it, I think.
Okay. This doesn't look like the original finish, right? I mean, this is probably a repaint.
I'm not sure if they didn't actually had some of those in white.
Oh, really?
They might have. I've got a brochure for Grinnell, I think, for that year, and I thought I saw a white one in there, but
Huh. Okay, I guess maybe so.
yeah, one on the left, I believe, is a Crosley. Kind of unusual.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Crosley 127 for a cool $250.
Got the shadow meter. Silver Marshall.
Oh, Marshall.
Yeah.
Does that say there? Does it say Bearcat?
I'm not sure.
I can't make it out.
Looks like it says Bearcat. My eyes are.
Oh.
Can't. This is a maximum. Unusual radio. At least you don't from a manufacturer see this very often.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to keep this together or something. Huh.
Yeah.
Ah, guess
There
we're
we
back.
go. Close up of that one, we can see maybe the dial, what it says.
I think in
Oh,
Emerson. Emerson? That looks like a clef.
Possibly.
It may well. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. Absolutely
Oh, yeah.
is.
Clef.
Right. Yep.
In fact, I've got an Emerson 38 with the essentially looks like they have the same style as Tushin, that goes around, same lay and so forth in the metal. All right,
Nice.
got a bunch of people
We'll go
wandering
through
around.
the whole- Yeah.
So do we have to play Where's Greg instead of Where's Waldo?
I'm looking, I don't see myself there. I might have been out taking a load to the car or something.
See here, we could see if we can find Greg shaking down some poor vendor, unsuspecting vendor.
Yeah, no.
I guess there's some. Fine, we go. Get to see all these little consoles in the background.
Yeah. Philco, I guess he didn't take a picture of Philco, but that's next to the Zenith.
An interesting radio.
That
Oh,
was a
that's
Simplex.
you saw that. Yeah, that's Simplex. Actually, it's an interesting shot because you get to better appreciate the differences in the color and the staining and so forth. The
Right.
size. Um,
There you can see the side of the Atwater Kent stove right to the lower right-hand side.
oh yeah,
Mhm.
it is.
Gives you an idea how tall it is, but the guy standing next to it, it's not.
Yeah. Certainly says the guy love the look of like a little stove, a little heater. Oh yeah, I think yeah, you caught that picture earlier. We saw one of
Yeah.
these radios.
Mhm.
You can tell this is a knockoff radio, one of those modern transistor.
Yeah. You never had a back on, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. Screens. He's got the little screws for the FM antenna or whatnot.
Mhm.
There we go.
Well, that's red.
Radiola 3, $110.
That's an RCA too, I think, behind there.
Yeah. Let's see another RCA right here. Oh, Philco.
Philco, yeah.
It looks like an 89B.
Might be, I
Maybe
think it
I'm
was
wrong.
either that or it's a model 19, because the 19 had the shadow meter and the 89 didn't.
Oh, that's right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
I didn't even see the shadow meter.
I think it's in there, yeah, unless I'm seeing it wrong.
Let me bring a little closer here.
Maybe not. No. That's probably 89, yeah. I just saw that flat spot above the scale. I thought that might have been the shadow meter. That other one back there was an. there's
This
the
is
Zenith.
the side. Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah,
That really
that.
That's pretty. I love that girl cloth. No. Oh, that's nice.
I think you let it go for around 3 bills.
Geez, that's not reasonable. Not unreasonable. Ah, I think we're at the beginning.
Yeah,
Double check. Oh yeah.
that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, now we can go to the photos of the
So the big reveal.
Majestic picked up. So let me go share that. Get a closer look of Greg's handiwork. Let's try that again. Really try sharing. It would really help if I actually shared. There we go. Ta-da! All right, so this is where we started.
Right. That's what I took home.
Boy, that's pretty brutal.
And what's unusual about that set is the chassis sits in there sideways. The tubes are actually pointed to one side of the cabinet. So how the chassis is sitting on top of it is not how it goes in the cabinet,
Ah,
which is kind of unusual. Because the cord is actually up on top. Now that's how it looks all done.
Oh
yeah,
my
I guess.
God.
That's what I made out of it.
Wow. Look at that big, label for volume.
Those
Wow.
knobs are unobtainable. You wouldn't find those. I was lucky it had those yet.
Did the original knobs were with the radio?
Probably, if you were to find a set of those.
Oh, what a piece, but we'll see more pictures. I know there's somewhat, I just showed them the order which you sent them. Oh, look at that, much better look. Wow.
Yeah, I think I spent a good afternoon just scraping all that old paint off of it.
That's gotta be like a John Bezos design or one of the
Yeah.
designers, famous designers that made that. It's
Yeah,
just
that's pretty.
so deco.
It screams
Yeah.
Art Deco, yeah.
Very nice. Great job.
Yeah,
Thank you.
very, very nice. Is that you keeping that one, Greg, or are you throwing it up for sale?
Yeah, oh, that one I'm keeping. I got it right there. We turn the light ones. Actually got it right next to me here.
Are you bringing something over? Oh, yeah, let me stop sharing and we all have a,
There
Oh,
it is,
look.
live and in person.
oh, look at that. I love that chrome. And
Whoa.
wow. That's pretty. It's even.
Not all that big for another
Yeah,
unusual
bigger.
feature. It has a back cover on it too.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying about it.
You know the
90
chassis sits sideways?
Yeah. How unusual.
Wow.
So yeah, that's and this grill cloth I got from, his name is Michael Katz. He really
Oh,
has some
yeah.
nice grill cloth patterns.
It's the Long Island guy.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
That's really nice. Love the chrome bars. Well, sharp.
Yeah, that's like I say, when I looked at it, I kind of knew what it was, but I thought, boy, that's gonna be a lot of work. And it was, but some of those basket cases are worth saving. Yeah, there's the back.
Here we go.
Oh,
That's pretty cool. So this was probably one of your longer restorations, huh, Greg?
Yeah, that took a couple of weeks to do that one. Because the Majestic had a capacitor box in there where everything's entire. And it wasn't just capacitors in there, it was a resistor network in there too. So it was just a nightmare to try and replace components.
Oh, okay. Look at that. Now, is this metal, Greg? I assume it is.
metal, yeah.
It's
It's almost like nickel plated.
Yep,
It's not chrome, but
pretty. I like it.
that was the first time it gave me an opportunity to use the black Mohawk toner. I never used the actual black color before.
Oh, okay. Not great. Make sure the let's look at the dial. Now, where's the
Came out great.
where's is there a like a pointer, you know, to see where you're
Yeah, there's
using-
a little mesh behind it. I think if you go back to the picture where it's lit up, you'll see it. There's a little like a little piece of metal behind there. There you
Oh,
go. Whoop, one more.
Oh, there we go. I see
There
it.
you go. Yeah,
There's
it's just
your-
like a little slit behind the.
Got it.
It actually has a police band too on the back. If you look on the back picture, there's a little knob that you can turn
Oh,
by the police band. It's yeah, right by that coil on the bottom there. There it is.
yes,
Yep.
yes. Unusual place to put it.
Yeah, I would say.
Okay, this is when you were working on the chassis, I
Yeah,
suppose.
that's how the chassis looked when I got it. Surprisingly, that at 80 globe tube was good. That's still in the
That's
radio.
Brutal.
Yeah, it was. Whoever painted it didn't do it justice.
No, it's actually just absolutely god awful. But you've
Yeah.
done you've turned this to such the elegant radio. Wow.
Yeah, I've never seen another one like it. I mean, I've seen pictures, but I've never actually seen one in person until I got this one.
No, it's a good find. It's a play.
Plays pretty good. Plays pretty good. Need a long wire antenna on it, of course, but
No,
there's
then
one I
you
was
know
asking it off into the black.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually a good picture. You can actually see the band more easily. Yeah. Wow.
Mhm.
Bravo, Greg.
Well done.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful.
All right.
Yeah, I nabbed that one up pretty fast. Right at the beginning of the meet, I picked that up. Because I knew if I would have walked away from it, somebody else would have grabbed that for sure.
Did anyone buy that Beetle set that you saw in that picture, that Admiral?
I don't think so. He had a good price on that. I think he wanted either 250 or 300 for it. And I don't know how it is out by you, but a lot of times at our meets, fully restored radios don't sell too well. People are looking for projects.
Mhm.
You know, so
Look at what you do.
yeah.
Ranges. We actually have seen a number of vendors have asked.
More
Fairly-
restored radios, I think, go at the Navy as opposed to the parts and the fixer ups that the Brookline shows. At least that's my opinion, but
Yeah.
no, I recently acquired, I'll show this if you guys can see that. I recently acquired this old cabinet that I'm
Wow.
dating around 1870. Really
Wow.
nice. And I
Beautiful.
decided to throw all the Beetle plastic radios in it. And
Yeah.
one thing I realized when I did that is that I don't know if you can see that one. So how do I get back to Zoom here? I think I goofed here.
Want me
No, I
to-
think I really goofed.
you want to stop? You want me to stop sharing for you?
Yeah, stop sharing for me because I think I goofed on that one. And anyway, one thing I realized, if you can see that one,
Oh yeah, that's good.
the Beetle colors vary significant. Once I put them all next to each other, I said, my God, they're very different. Some have a very yellowish color and some are more whitish. And the one in the middle shelf over to the right is almost like a salmon color. The silver tone above it has kind of more reds to it. And the other thing I learned is that the little GE you see there, I found that I have two of those. As I undid all my Beetle stuff, I don't know how I ended up with two. This particular one, while it displays nicely, it has a crack in the bottom. But I do have one that's really nice. But yeah, anyway, I threw all the Beetle plastic radios in there, and it looks nice anyway. So
That's a very nice display and collection.
yeah.
Hey, Howard, the one that was adjacent to the what's it, sorry, I'll just have you bring it up again. The one that you had a duplicate of, what's the one with the dial face immediately to the left of it? The interesting dial face, that spider web style almost at the bottom.
Okay, that's one that I'm not sure. It's a Western Auto chassis. I was never really able to figure it out. It was a real basket case when I got it. But it's a Western Auto chassis, but it may have had Minerva or Air Castle or something else in the name. There's a similar one. There's an Air Castle record player radio combo that has that dial.
Interesting. Yeah, it's unusual. It caught my eye. I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, actually, that I put that radio in the Prez Says back a couple of years ago when I was president.
Oh, I think maybe that's why I remember that now, and it just
Yeah,
caught my eye.
It's just one of those radios where I've never quite seen another one in that cabinet style in Beetle. But anyway, that's anyway that worked out. I was glad I acquired the cabinet. It's a very nice cabinet, but it's also great place to get all the Beetle radios in one spot.
Yeah, no, I like it, and also the different designs, and and you said also the finishes within the plastic variations, actually really interesting to put them all together that way. Appreciate the differences. Nice. So, was there anyone wanted to share anything else before we wrap this up?
One thing,
Sure. Go ahead, Bruce.
I'm in the market for a knob. And what it is, it's a DAC-aware knob. Typically appears on Collins transmitters and receivers, and unfortunately I broke it. They come in different sizes. If I measure across from point to point, it's 1 5/16. So I'd be happy to purchase it if anyone has one at Brookline.
Oh, okay. Hey, by chance, did you reach out to Gary in case he has one? Because he has a fair Collins collection.
No, I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, Gary's not on the call, the meeting tonight, but yeah, he's, in fact, actually, he owes us a walkthrough in his collection. You might be worth emailing. Maybe he's got one.
Great. Thank you for the tip.
Sure.
Bruce, I have a box of that style knob. I'll have to look through because some of them don't have the skirt on them. Some of them do. But I'll look through and see if I have anything. And if I do, I'll send you a message.
Thanks, Howard. And I'm the Bruce Burgess with the WX10, not the other one in wherever he is. And this one has not only does this have the skirt, it also has the indicator line on it.
Okay.
Great. Thanks. All right. Enjoyed the show.
Yeah, it was really good.
All right. I guess on that note, I guess we'll wrap it up and let you guys go. It won't be far away before I'll be seeing a number of you guys face to face at Spring Brookline in New Hampshire. And for the rest of you, well, hopefully we'll see you at the next Zoom meeting that will follow shortly. I guess will be on the 24th. So at any rate, thanks guys. Really appreciate you attending as always and sharing all sorts of interesting stories, and Tom doing us a FEIT light bulb diagnosis and repair live. Also now loaded up on YouTube before long. And glad to see that the interference has finally ended and ended his madness. in his shop. But at any rate, rest of you guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you soon.
Great, thanks, John.
All right,
See
boys,
everybody.
take care of
Thanks,
yourselves.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, thanks, Tom, Greg, Brad, Adrian. Wait, will we see you there, Adrian? At Spring Brookline, will you see you up there, or? Or you're on mute.
There we go. Yeah, actually, I was shutting down and that was what happened. Yes, I bought a outside ticket already.
All right, very good. We'll see you there. Looking forward to catching up with you.
Yes. See you there.
You got to get you out there, Greg. One of these
Yeah.
years.
One of those years, I like to see that. I like to see Kutztown. And some
Yeah, I
years I have
know.
to come out here to the
gotta go there
Midwest
too.
to Radio
gotta go
Fest.
Yeah, we'll come for our winter. I know it'll be maybe even a little warmer than your winters. For this stuff. With recording button.
Okay.